Yeah, I just went up to the press area to get an understanding of what we're watching. This is what I was told. The president has kicked Zelenskyy out of the White House. His delegation right now is telling him that he's got to go home.
Donald Trump and J.D. Vance met with President Zelenskyy of Ukraine today at the White House. But things quickly erupted into pure chaos as this seemingly peaceful press conference turned into a gloves-off, bare-knuckle cage fight right in the White House. As always, like the video and subscribe to the channel because I don't know if you've ever seen anything like this. A diplomatic conversation between two presidents that turns into an all-out brawl. But let's start with the most peaceful moment of this entire meeting when President Trump explains the rare earth mineral deal that they're signing with Ukraine.
Thank you very much. It's an honor to have President Zelenskyy of Ukraine. And we've been working very hard, very close. So we've actually known each other for a long time. We've been dealing with each other for a long time and very well. We had a little negotiation spat, but that worked out great. I think for both countries, I think for the world, actually, beyond both countries. And we have something that is a very fair deal. And we look forward to getting in and digging and working and getting some of the rare earth. But it means we're going to be inside, and it's a big commitment from the United States, and we appreciate working with you very much. And we will continue to do that. We have had some very good discussions with Russia. I spoke with President Putin, and we're going to try and bring this to a close.
As I mentioned in my video yesterday, this is huge for a number of reasons. Because one, it allows the American taxpayer to start to recoup some of the insane amount of money that we've sent to Ukraine. And two, it allows us to decrease our reliance on China for the import of rare earth materials, which are essentially vital in almost everything that we use. And this is a win for Ukraine as well because they want security guarantees. And if America has an interest in Ukraine through this deal and American companies are operating there, Russia will think twice about invading in the future, even after Trump has left office. So America's looking for an off-ramp to this war, while President Zelenskyy has a completely unrealistic goal of what he wants to achieve, which is getting back all of the land Russia's taken from Ukraine in the past 20 years, which isn't going to happen. So in the meantime, he expects the United States to keep writing blank checks in perpetuity with no end in sight, which really frustrates J.D. Vance and prompts him to call out President Zelenskyy to his face for trying to hash out these private discussions right in front of the media.
What kind of diplomacy, J.D., you are speaking about? What do you mean?
I'm talking about the kind of diplomacy that's going to end the destruction of your country.
Yes, but if you are not strong...
Mr. President, with respect, I think it's disrespectful for you to come into the Oval Office and try to litigate this in front of the American media. Right now, you guys are going around and forcing conscripts to the front lines because you have manpower problems. You should be thanking the President for trying to bring an end to this conflict.
Have you ever been to Ukraine that you say what problems we have?
I have been to.
Come once.
I've actually watched and seen the stories, and I know what happens is you bring them on a propaganda tour, Mr. President. Do you disagree that you've had problems bringing people into your military?
We have problems.
And do you think that it's respectful to come to the Oval Office of the United States of America and attack the administration that is trying to prevent the destruction of your country?
A lot of questions. Let's start from the beginning.
Sure.
So J.D. Vance is furious because President Zelenskyy is basically trying to pursue a moral victory, where he can tell his citizens that they kicked out the Russian invaders, which in theory might be okay, except for that isn't the reality of the situation. President Zelenskyy is willing to risk the lives of hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of his own men and spend hundreds of billions more of United States dollars just to be no further along in accomplishing that goal than they are today. And everyone can see it, and that's why J.D. Vance is actually sticking up for Americans. Because we are no longer willing to spend hundreds of billions of dollars of our own taxpayer money just so President Zelenskyy can look like a hero in his country. Now he starts to answer J.D. Vance's question, and literally the first sentence out of his mouth pisses Donald Trump off, causing Trump to rip into Zelenskyy. This is where things start to get really heated. Watch.
First of all, during the war, everybody has problems. Even you, but you have nice ocean and don't feel now, but you will feel it in the future. God bless.
You don't know that.
God bless.
You don't know
God
that.
bless. You
Don't-
will not
you
have
gotta-
a war.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel. We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because
I'm
you're in no
answering on this
position to
question.
dictate that.
That's
Remember
exactly what
this.
you're
I'm not
You're in
dictating.
no position to dictate what we're going to feel.
You
We're
will-
going to feel very
you will
good.
feel influenced.
We're going to feel very
I'm
good and
telling
very
you,
strong.
You will feel influence.
You're right now not in a very good position. You've allowed
From the
yourself
very-
to be in a
from
very
the very
bad position,
beginning
and he
of the
happens
war.
to be right about
From
it.
the very beginning of the war.
You're not
Mr.
in a
Brown,
good position.
I
You
was
don't have
in
the cards right now. With us, you start
I'm
having
not
cards.
playing
But
cards.
right now, you
I'm
don't.
very
Yeah, you're playing
serious,
cards.
Mr. President.
You're
I'm
playing
very
cards.
serious.
You're gambling
I'm the
with the
president
lives
in
of
war.
millions of people.
You think-
You're gambling with World War III.
What do you
You're
think about?
gambling with
What do you
World
think
War
about?
III. And
You-
what you're doing is very disrespectful to the country, this country. That's
with
back
all
to you.
respect to your
Far
country.
more than a lot of people said
I'm wearing
they
respect.
should have.
So even though America has been extremely gracious with Ukraine and already given them so much money, Zelenskyy tries to spin it to say that our big oceans in between Europe don't actually matter because we will feel the effects of Russia's aggression. And Trump's like, don't try to scare us. Don't tell us what we're going to feel just so you can try to siphon off another couple $100 billion of American taxpayer money. Even when Zelenskyy himself has admitted that 50% of the money spent on Ukraine hasn't actually gone to Ukraine. So essentially all he's saying is, America, send us some more of your money so I and everyone else can just keep stealing it. Russia has infinitely more bodies to throw at this war effort. Just look at World War II. The Nazis had far superior technology and a far superior military, but Russia just had more and more bodies to throw at them. They also have far superior production capabilities than Ukraine. They can keep this war going as long as they want to. Democrats and Zelenskyy both seem to think that military weaponry just pops out of thin air. Jets and tanks take a long time to build. And if they need these things for a war today, they have to come from already existing stockpiles. Eventually, the United States is going to run out of the reserves that it needs to defend ourselves. And that will just cause more aggressive behavior from our adversaries. If they see that the United States isn't actually equipped to be a superior military force. Now, this fiery exchange is nowhere near over. Zelenskyy tries to be a funny guy and says a smart-ass response to JD Vance, which causes Trump to jump back in and continue his tirade.
Have you said thank you once?
A lot of times.
No, in this
Even
entire meeting,
today.
have you said thank you.
Even today.
You went to Pennsylvania and campaigned for the opposition in October. Offer some words of appreciation for
what-
the United
what
States
you're
of
speaking
America
about.
and the president who's trying to save your country.
Please, you think that if you will speak very loudly about the war, you
He's
can...
not speaking loudly. He's not
Yeah.
speaking loudly. Your country is
Can I-
in big
can-
trouble.
can I
Wait a
answer?
minute. No,
Can
you've
I
done a lot
answer?
of talking. Your country is in big trouble.
I know.
You're not
I
winning.
know.
You're not winning this. You have a damn good chance of
we are
coming out
staying,
okay because of
Mr.
us.
President, we are staying in our country, staying strong from the very beginning of the war. We've been alone, and we are thankful. I said thanks
You haven't
in
been
this
alone.
cabinet,
You
and
haven't
not
been
only
alone.
in this cabinet.
We gave you, through
I
this
said thank
stupid
you.
president, $350 billion.
You voted
we gave
for
you
your
military
president.
equipment,
You
and you
voted
men
for
are
your
brave,
president.
but they had to use our military.
What about
if
West
you didn't
You
have our
invited
military
me-
equipment,
you invited
if
me
you
to
didn't
speak.
have our military equipment, this war would have been over in 2 weeks.
In 3
okay?
days, I heard it from Putin.
He tried reciting the same talking points that he used at the very beginning of this war. Oh, we're little Ukraine and we're having to stand up to big bad Russia, so we need everyone's help. But now this war is 3 years in and hundreds of billions of dollars from both the United States and Europe, and he's trying to use the same guilt-tripping techniques to try to get us to keep funneling money into this endless fight. And the Democrat media is, of course, going to try to spin this as, oh, Trump was bullying Zelenskyy. Trump isn't standing with our allies. But the truth is, this is what America First looks like. We're not going to risk our blood and our treasure so Zelenskyy can stand in the middle of Kyiv and say, I'm the savior of Ukraine. This isn't patty cake on the playground. This is war. Leverage means everything. And as Trump pointed out, Ukraine has none. So where do they get off making these insane demands with no ability outside of the help of the United States to even maintain their current defense, let alone make a serious offensive? So his demand to the United States that he'll be the one to determine when he wants to call a ceasefire, when he wants to make an agreement, but in the meantime wants us to just keep bankrolling him, is completely unreasonable. Now, this is where Trump calls him out for his bad faith antics, refusing to agree or even to consider a ceasefire, as if stopping the slaughter of your citizens isn't worth it because he wants more. Watch.
It's going to be a very hard thing to do business like this, I tell you.
Just say thank you.
I said a lot of times thank you to American people.
Except that there are disagreements, and let's go litigate those disagreements rather than trying to fight it out in the American media when you're wrong. We know that you're wrong.
But you see, I think it's good for the American people to see what's going on over here. I think it's very important. That's why I kept this going so long. You have to be thankful. You don't have the cards.
Thankful.
You're buried there. Your people are dying. You're
again,
running low on soldiers.
Listen, please,
you're running
Mr.
low
President.
on soldiers. It would be a damn good thing.
Mr.
And then you tell us, I don't want a ceasefire. I don't want a ceasefire. I want to go and I want this. Look, if you could get a ceasefire right now, I tell you, you take it so the bullets stop flying and your men stop getting killed.
Of course, we want to stop the war.
But you're saying you don't want a ceasefire.
But I said to you,
I want a ceasefire.
with guarantees.
Because you'll get a ceasefire faster than an agreement.
Ask our people about ceasefire, what they think.
That wasn't
it doesn't
with
matter
me.
for you what
that wasn't
is
with me.
nation.
That was with
you.
a guy named Biden, who was not a smart person.
So when he says a security guarantee, he wants Ukraine to be admitted into NATO. So the next time Russia tries to invade, they can enact Article 5 of NATO, and the rest of the Western world can come to their defense, thus sparking a world war. And I've been so confused. Since when is Ukraine this giant ally to the West? Forever they've been considered a corrupt, undemocratic country. But now all of a sudden they're this free and fair society that shares all of these values with us. And the Democrat talking point that it's our obligation to stop a sovereign country from being invaded doesn't hold up, because there's dozens of these kind of conflicts happening across the world. We just so happen to pick this one. Why? And I'm not saying we shouldn't have helped Ukraine at all. I'm just saying we've helped enough and we should be looking for an off-ramp, not bankrolling this conflict until the end of time, especially when their president has no desire to even look for a solution other than the one that he wants. Again, I'm happy that we have a president who is actually standing up for American people rather than bending over backwards to every other world leader simply so we can be perceived as the nice guys and let every other country take advantage of us. This kind of entitled attitude that you saw from Zelenskyy is a result of how the last administration allowed themselves to be taken advantage of. So now he has a chance to see what an America First president looks like, who isn't a warmonger and doesn't want an endless war to continue, potentially threatening the entire globe. So thank you, Donald Trump and JD Vance, for helping to expose this guy as the grifter that he truly is. But let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video and this absolutely fiery exchange, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Turn on those notification bells so you never miss a video. And I will see you guys in the next one.